Who is Randy? Don't bring anyone mother into this. Your mom in the fucking stand!
All right, this is long overdue, and we finally got him here. He is a comedian, a director, and one of the highest ranking white people in the black culture world.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm a lieutenant.
You're like a lieutenant
Yeah.
amongst black culture. It is Neal Brennan.
Yeah.
Yes.
Welcome.
Yes. Now I want to explain why I want to be here, which is I don't listen to the podcast, but I watch the fuck out of the clips, right?
Oh, okay, good.
You know, I watch the fuck out of Instagram, right?
Yeah.
I want to know. Anytime I've posted anything related to you, my comments will be flooded with a language that's like fucking orc language.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's like trying
Like
to,
mom,
What's with the jeans?
yeah.
Gene. So I just okay.
What's with the
So
jeans?
what? Can we go through just a glossary
Sure.
for the uninitiated?
Sure.
What's with the jeans?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. So you probably explained it before.
Yeah. No, but
Yes.
it makes sense. We get asked a lot, especially people who go like, "Hey, I just got into the podcast 2 weeks ago. What the fuck is going on?" And there's a lot to cover. You know,
Yeah.
There's a lot though, but so we should start with the basics.
Jeans is probably a basic.
Jeans is what the show is based on. Jeans is like the premise of Star Wars. It's the Force. It's what we're inside. It's
That
two
doesn't make any
mummies,
sense
one-
at all.
So
That doesn't mean anything.
this is okay. It comes. The whole thing is based on lingo. That the jeans thing is based on lingo from our relationship. Meaning, it was like we started to call each other as a joke when we're living in an apartment. It's like you're leaving for the day. I'd be like, "I'm leaving. I'll be back later, mommy." Right? Like say mommy.
Yeah.
And then that evolved into mommy jeans. And then that evolved into dropping mommy and just saying jeans.
Okay.
And then, you know what I mean? It's just like a pet name.
Yeah.
And
Started as
then
a pet name.
it started to, you used to, you know how you see somebody who wears like jeans that are too high and too tight and you're like, what the fuck is it? So we started to say basically that person's got it going on. Like that guy is living life the right way. So like wear them high and tight. And that when you fuck up, when you do something stupid or embarrassing is because your jeans are low and loose.
Okay,
So
great.
we flipped that on its head.
Okay, great.
So like if we do something and people are like, that wasn't cool.
Somebody
your
should
jeans are
set up a
loose.
Wikipedia page with all this on
It's a
it.
That's
really
probably
good
a good idea.
Like for real, because it's lore.
Somebody created a page of the sound drops and like over 1,000 sound drops are on it.
Wow.
So like they put.
Is there stuff that you guys go like, let's not do this on the show. This is just for us still. This is just for the house.
I don't know. There's not really
I mean,
much.
nothing. Then
Not
why
a
would you
lot.
throw it away like that?
Yeah,
throw it away on your
know.
relationship.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Well, there's stuff that just can't translate to the show. Like
Yeah.
right now, Tom and I are hooked on this Martin Lawrence joke from like a decade ago.
And we just like.
We do it to each other.
Yeah,
anyhow.
but, and then like sometimes we'll play the clip, but it's when he was talking about that dance, the cha-cha
cha-cha.
slide,
Remember
and
that bit?
we just get hooked on a phrase.
Yeah,
you
of
know?
course.
So he was making fun of dances, and like he's like that shit. He goes, I can't even say it. He's like, dances used to be like real comedy. He's like, now it's like, dude, move your hips like this one time. Now keep moving your hips like this. And that's it. And he's like, that shit is easy. And like, we just keep fucking
Yeah, that's
saying
fair.
that.
Now think about it. Yeah, it's just
Stop.
stupid.
Think about it.
But that's what I'm always impressed in your act, how many other people's, you've made you'll take other people's phrases.
Yeah.
And you'll build a fucking castle around them. Mm-hmm. And it's like bikes bikes being the best example.
Yeah.
Where I have a million of those and I would never think to explain to put it in your act.
Yeah.
But I have a fucking million of those, like just dumb things, like dumb hooks in your head.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
This show is dumb hooks in your head.
Yeah.
And sharing them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then it naturally evolves into your stand up, right?
Yes.
Like so the bikes thing was like the bikes came from the podcast. It was not stand up. It was we were playing Scared Straight 99,
Right,
which
of
is
course.
the one-off.
Yep.
So it wasn't the show, it was a
The
special.
one-time special. It was MTV.
It was MTV,
Yep.
and they aired it uncensored, which was bananas.
Uh-huh.
And that guy was just, I mean, he stole the show, and he was fucking verbally abusive to these kids, but in a really, he reminded me of like Robin Harris.
Yeah.
And he he was like, "You big fat sloppy motherfucker," like saying shit like that, and I was like, "Oh, just."
Wait, wasn't Scared
crying.
Straight? There was an original one from like the 80s.
There's one
right?
before that.
That was
yes.
even way crazier. Wasn't it?
It was that those guys. It was the 70s.
It was the 70s.
Yeah.
People were different then.
People were different.
Oh
then.
yeah.
Yes.
So like
this
the
one,
dudes were different, and they didn't have hooks.
They didn't have hooks. This guy.
Honestly.
Right.
No, you're right. Yeah, this guy. The other thing that's hilarious is you watch that thing. Man, one of the kids doesn't want to do, and you know that the kids ultimately are not going to get hurt, but these guys really toe the line, and that guy who screams bikes is telling this kid, he's like, apologize. And as he's saying apologize, he gets this far.
Yeah.
I mean, he gets this far. And as he's saying it, spit is flying off of his lip. And he's like, I know you don't like no motherfucker spitting in your face. And spit is flying in his face. And they call him a faggot. And they're just saying really crazy shit. But because you're like on the show, you're like, it's not going to, like, he's not going to hit him.
Yeah, because he's also going to get another 10 years if he hits him.
Absolutely. Starts saying all this shit. And he is saying shit like the things I said in my act about it, like how he's like, I'm going to make you suck my dick every day. And he says that shit to him. And it's all so heightened. Like the whole time he screams and yells the entire time, says motherfucker like 1,000 times. And then if you look up, they didn't air it on that, but if you look up like the follow-up piece MTV did, they cut to that prisoner, this guy right here. And they're like, tell us about the experience. And he's like, well, it's great to be able to help these kids. He just completely flips. He's like, we do that so that they learn, so that they don't come back. And you're like, dude, like nothing about your message was ever like seemed controlled.
Does it ever work?
Idea?
I wonder if that ever works.
Well,
with these
they
kids.
can't prove. They can't prove like, well, I was going to do crime.
Well,
and
know that they got one of the guys on that. I mean, first of all, multiple people who have been part of the Scared Straight stuff have violated again. The bikes kid, the kid that got yelled at, it was going back to jail when I was doing, like after I did the special. Right. I met somebody who was in class with him in middle school, and they're like, he's going back to jail, and they're like, he caught hell for that when it aired. But there's a guy who's on the Scared Straight special where they do the follow-up on MTV, and they're like, how did it help you? And he's like, it totally straightened my life away. Like, you can look this up. He was found later guilty of like murder and burying a body.
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus,
and he's on the special, and he's one of the kids who you think is kind of like has it together. Like,
and
he
he
doesn't
didn't.
Wow.
He murdered somebody later. Yeah. And he was like, I have kids now, and I live my life this way. Total psycho. Murder someone.
Okay.
Great.
Bikes. All right. So let's just go with the who's Randy.
Who's Randy? That is really, really deep in the vault.
All right, what is the order in the bump? It goes like, don't even put no love into this.
That's
Your mama's a
Mr.
fucking sham.
Yeah.
Don't bring anyone's mother into this. That's Mr. T.
Don't
That's
bring
from-
anyone's mom into this.
Don't bring anyone's mother into this.
When we were building the show intro,
the universe,
it was exactly what you said, where it was like head hooks, right?
Yeah.
Like just drops in your head.
Those are the earliest ones.
And it was also like mom themed, because your mom's house was supposed to be something silly to say to someone. Like, listen to your, like when you say it, people are like, what do you mean your mom's? Like they get kind of like they pull back.
Because we literally sat down at our dinner table and we were like, what's the dumbest thing you could name a podcast?
Yeah.
What's the stupidest thing? Your mom's house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. So it goes, this shit is big time, right? That's what the first thing.
Yeah. Who is that?
That's Coach Tim Ice Harris.
This shit is big time!
So he's given.
This shit should be easy.
This is so funny because it's like meeting my heroes. Like, wait, what? Oh my god!
Have you never seen Year of the Bull?
No.
Okay, so one of the first things that we profiled.
And I don't know who's Julie. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah.
So the first thing that we did is we profiled the documentary Stevie, right?
Yeah,
Steve.
it's about a guy.
Yeah.
It's real fucked up.
That's the guy who did Hoop Dreams made Stevie.
Yes, exactly right.
Okay.
So we played that and we dissected it for, I don't know,
He's the only dad I've ever known.
and like all his fun drops.
Yeah.
And then next was a documentary called Year of the Bull, which features the Miami Northwestern Bulls in Liberty City, Miami.
Okay.
Which has produced, at the time of the documentary, which is now more than 10 years old, it had already produced 19 NFL players.
Yeah.
So a bonkers program. And there's just like some crazy just phrases and things screamed in there. So it was a perfect way to open the show. Is like the guy saying this shit is big time. The show is starting. This shit is big time. Then Your Mom's House. Don't bring anyone's mother into this, which is
Mr. T.
Mr. T.
It was a PSA from the 80s about kids insulting each other and bullying each other, and they were doing Your Mama jokes or whatever. And he's like, don't bring anyone's mother into this. And he like separates the kids. So that's Mr. T.
And
then
Your Mama's a fucking
Your Mama's
shame.
in the fucking stands.
Well, that's Coach
Who is
Ice
Randy's
too.
before
that.
Who is Randy? Now that's a dark
That
one.
is a random one
Jesus
that is
Christ.
really dark.
Neal, you had to ask.
It's really dark.
Please.
All right, so Real Sports on HBO.
Please. I've seen them all.
Okay, so there's one. They've done a number.
We almost did a sketch on Chappelle's Show based around a hook from Real Sports.
Really?
Vijay Singh, the golfer who's like Indonesian, had beef with his caddy. And
this was the pitch, or this is reality?
No, this was on Real Sports.
Already funny as
Yeah,
shit,
we
though.
had beef with his caddy. The caddy said he was an asshole, and Vijay Singh said, like, talking about the caddy, is like, well, there's the caddy's name was Dave, and he goes, there's things you don't know about Dave. He drinks, and then he goes, he comes to work smelling of drink. So me and Chappelle would just say smelling of drink.
Smelling of drink.
Smelling of drink.
That sounds like hardcore fun.
Smelling of,
Yeah.
smelling of drink. So
Wait, I didn't even tell you we obviously did not go through all this correctly, but just for you asked me about who is Randy, and I just realized
that's good. I'm glad you returned it because I was thinking about it.
Who is Randy? Real Sports has done a lot of features on CTE and the how football really does serious brain damage.
Yep.
One of the early times they profiled it, they got a group of guys together who were all suffering from it with their spouses, and the interviewer talked to John Mackey, Hall of Fame tight end for the Baltimore Colts, and his wife. And at the time, Mackey, he's got on his cowboy hat, sunglasses, and he is pretty far along. He can't be alone and stuff. And she's talking to the interviewer like I am to you. He's sitting right next to her, just kind of like looking around, like not really keyed into the conversation. So he's like, "What's day like?" She's like, "Well," he's always like, "When are we gonna go? Like we're about to go somewhere."
Yeah.
She goes, "I've had to make up things to placate him." So I just tell him that like when he says that, I just go, "Well, the car's in the shop right now," and I tell him that there's a mechanic, a made-up mechanic named Randy who is working on it, and then it just kind of satisfies him for a while, and then the interviewer tries to get in on it, and he's like, "John, is Randy working on your car right now? Is that what he's doing?" And John Mackey goes, "Who's Randy?" That's it.
Yeah, great.
That's it.
Totally worth it.
And because what happened was, again, with that one, Sickler and I used to just like talk to each other on the phone and be like, "Who is Randy?" and just say it back and forth.
Yeah.
Threw it in there.
Yep.